In this module, what we'll do is we'll talk about networking. So networking is used in order to get data from the internet and display inside your phone. So by example, you get the data from an API and you display this inside the phone. What we'll do is we'll really go step by step, okay? Because I don't want to create a 35-minute video. I want to create little videos that are easy to understand and digestible, okay? So I just need to explain you first inside this video what we will do, okay? The big picture, and then each video will do one little step. So the first thing is we will use the boardapi.appbeverly.com, okay? You can use any other API if you want. It doesn't really matter, but we'll just use this one because it's pretty simple, right? Simple stuff. After this, you will need to go on HTTP. It's not this website. It's doc.flutter.dev cookbook networking fetch data. Okay, you will be able to find this page. And next, you need to use some sort of assistant AI if you want. If you don't like this, don't use it. But I highly recommend you to use this because otherwise you will be lost in the sauce later in your life. Anyway, so first thing first, we will need to put the HTTP package inside our application. So we will do this for this video at least. What you can do is inside this page, you will be able to find the HTTP package. So you can open the link in a new tab. And this is just the simple HTTP package provided by pub.dev. So let's install this inside the pubspec.yum. We'll go inside pubspec.yum and I will say Command-Shift-P, add dependency, and then boom, HTTP. And you should have something like this inside your pubspec.yum. After this, we will save and we will Flutter pubget, just like that. And now you should be able to use the HTTP package inside your Flutter app. And this is what we'll do inside the next video. So I see you in the next one. Bye. Before we start with the HTTP package, I need to tell you something. And it's inside the fetch data. If you scroll down, you will see that you need to use permission sometime, okay? The application with Android, you will need to add the permission if you want to release in production. If you are developing or debugging, it will be fine. The internet and the API will all works. But if you are publishing on the App Store, then you will need to add this, all right? So I will show you where to add this, and it's only for Android and Mac OS. So if you deploy on Mac, then you will need to do this also. But for iOS, it's fine. So let's add this inside the Android manifest. So where is this file? First, you will need to go inside your project. You can minimize everything, and you will find inside Android, you should be able to find inside application and inside source and inside main, Android manifest. So you double click on this, and this is where you need to add the used permission if you are deploying on a production, okay? So I will copy this, and I will paste it just before the application, like this, boom. And you just make sure that is aligned with application. So in my case, it is not. So I will do this, and now everything is fine. If you don't remember how to add it, you can always go inside the Java, I think. Is it Java or, debug, inside Android manifest. You will see that this debug Android manifest already have the use permission internet. So it's the same thing, we just add it inside the production one. All right, so that's good. We can close both manifest and we can start building our HTTP request. So we have added the installing in the previous video. I've shown you how to add the HTTP inside your dependencies. Now let's use it. Let's go inside example, and inside example, we will find just this little code, and we will add this code inside our project. We will go inside our application. I will close the pubspec.yum and open minimize everything, open inside the pages, so inside view, pages, we should have course.page, course-page.dart. Let's use this, and inside this one, we'll modify the stateless refactor, and we'll use a stateful widget, like this. The reason we need to do this is because we will use a init state. If you remember, the init state will trigger as soon as the page starts, it will trigger this, and then it will start building the page. So we need to get the information, get data at this point. So we'll create a function get data, void get data, like this. And then we can open the bracket and put some code inside. So now we will be able to see the response from the API inside the terminal. That's the goal at the end of this video. After this, we will work towards an application where you will see inside the application. But for now, let's keep it simple. So what do we need to do? First thing first, we can actually just copy this entire thing, and we'll just copy this instead. So let's copy this and go back inside the code. Let's paste this, and now let's remove the useless comments, and that seems pretty good. Okay, the next thing we need to do is we need to change the URL because we will use the board API documentation. So this is the website. Let's copy the website URL. And again, if you are using another API, which is a good idea because this is how you really learn, it's by like modifying the things we do and just try to do other stuff. Anyway, I'm going out of topic. Let's just copy this and paste it inside this little link. Okay, so you don't need to put HTTP with the URE.https. So we will delete this because this will automatically add it inside. Okay, so if you go over, you will see that if you put an example, the URE will return HTTP and everything. So this will end all this stuff. After this, you will need to remove the random, the path. So we will remove this and paste it right there. Because if you go over HTTP, you will see that you require the authority, which is the website, boardapi.appberrily.com, and you need the unencoded path, which is the random. Okay. Next, if you go over, you will see that you can put some query parameters. These are some parameters. By example, you know, when you go on some website, I don't know if we will have some example. No, not right now, but sometimes you go on a website and you have some sort of a question mark and blah, 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 some query. This is where you can use them. Okay, that's the goal. So we will delete them because we don't need it right now. And after this, you see that we have an await. What we do when we have an await, we create an async in order to tell Flutter that we can use an await. After this, we have the HTTP, so we need to add the package. If we go back inside the documentation, you will see that we need to, inside this one, the example, you see that we need to add the convert and the HTTP. So let's take both of them, copy, and paste the import inside our course page. So you can see that we have two import. And we use the as convert and also the as HTTP. This just means that in order to use it, you will need to say http.get. Let me give you an example. If I change this for http HGT, I will need to change this one also for http HGHDHD. You get the point. Okay, let's put back the HTTP. And now let's keep going. So we have this information. Now what the code is doing is the response will say, I will wait for the information from the internet. So it will get the information from this URE, which is this information. This should return some sort of information like this. And after this, we say if the response status is a code 200, which means it was successful, then what we'll do is we'll say the JSON response is equal to all of this. And all of this just means that we will use the response body, which is this information, and we will convert it into a JSON response, which we can use in order to display the information. I know this is a lot of words, but you will understand once we play with it. So let's first thing first, just run the code. I think if we run the code and go inside the terminal, everything should already work. First, we need to change the JSON response for the item activity, by example. So I will just replace this for activity, and this should return a simple activity. Let's go inside the application. I will go navigate next, and click on this. So if we go inside the terminal, you see that now we have a return number of book about HTTP null. Okay, so the item count, let's just verify activity. If I have activity, activity. Okay, that's good. We have the information, random, print number of book. I will delete this and just print the item count like this. Okay, and let's try again just to see if we have some sort of value. Get started, next, next, and we click on it. And now you see that we have clean out your refrigerator. And this information is coming from the internet. And we get this information and we are able to use it inside our application. I just think this is incredible and fabulous to know that, whatever, I'm going out of topic, but I just think it's so cool to know how to do these things. Anyway, so that's about it for this video. As for now, what we have done is we have copied the code, but later in future video, we will modify everything. You will be able to understand how it works, and we will be able to display this information inside the visual of the application. If you already have an idea how to do this, try to do it by yourself. Otherwise, in the next video, I will show you everything step by step. So that's it. See you in the next one, and bye. In the previous video, I've talked really fast about what does the code mean. And I want to explain you a little bit more how it works. First thing first, the convert.json decode. Okay, what does the convert mean? It's just because we use a as for the import. So you need to use convert in order to use the import. But if you want, you can just remove this and it will do just the same. Okay, so right now, because I have used the API like more than 100 times, I should be declined at this moment, but later inside this course, we will be able to reuse it, okay? So let's just refresh the application and see get started, next, and say register, click on it, and now we have it, okay? So I'm still not declined, but later, if you see some sort of code like 400 something, it's because you have used the API too much time in 15 minutes. Okay, so for now, this has reset, so that's a great thing. So first thing first, we have removed this and we don't really need it. The reason we need to use as sometime is because two package or two import will be in conflict one with each other. So if two of them have the same function, it will enter in conflict. So that's why you need to use this. But for now, we can keep it like this. The next thing I want to talk about is the JSON decode. Like, why do we need to use this actually? And the reason is, if we don't use the JSON decode, the response.body is just a big string. So it will be a long string with all the information inside. But everything split with some sort of maps. So that is the reason we need to use this. Otherwise, it won't work. So we can try, and I can give you an example. If I try to print another thing, instead I will use the log for this one. So log developer, make sure that you use the .dart developer. The log is the same thing as the print, but it will print in orange instead. So we will see the difference. So instead of printing the item count, which we should call this activity just to make a little bit more sense. If we try to print the JSON response .body like this, you will see that this is a string. So we will try it right now. Get started, click on it, and click register. Oh, I need to add a little something also. We will say body, but we will add this thing also. If I add this, you will see right away that we cannot do this because it's a string. The body is a string, all right? So let's remove this and click on it. Now you can see that this is what is print. This is an entire string, so we need to convert this information into a map of string and dynamic. So we need to convert this into a map. That's why we use the JSON decode. And the JSON decode is only available because we use the import Dart convert. All right, so now you understand a little bit more. After this, I don't think we need to talk a little bit more about this because, that's pretty much all we need to talk about. You understand this line and all those lines. If anything, just put a comment inside the video and that's it. So I see you in the next video. Bye. For this video, what we will do is we will start to convert this information into something that we can use inside the phone and display right there. All right. So for this, we will go inside the internet And we will follow this little tutorial together step by step, but we will use instead the board API documentation. So let's go down, and you should be able to find this section, create a class album. So instead of creating this class, and what I will do is I will just copy this. I will go inside ChatGPT, and I will just say, you can use any personal AI, it doesn't really matter. It's just super fast. So I will say, use this class as reference for the next prompt. Okay? Like this, and boom. So the next thing will be to put this information inside. And I will just say to GPT, I will say, use this to create a class. And boom, like this. Just by doing this, not Dart, but GPT or any AI assistants will convert everything and will make it look just like what we had previously. So factory, everything should be the same thing. Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing, but with what we want. So we can copy the code and we can create a new class. So we'll go inside data, and inside data we can say new file. Let's call this one activity class.dart, or even we can create a folder for this. It will make more sense because if you have more classes inside your code, you will need a folder for this. So activity inside the class and move. Perfect. Now we can paste the activity inside and we have all the code that we need, which is pretty cool. And let me explain quickly the code. It's just a simple class. You put the information inside by using the from JSON, and you just put the JSON inside. This will convert everything and create an activity. It will return an activity, and if there is an error, it will throw a format exception error. Okay, simple stuff. So we can go inside the course page, and now we can use this. So let's go back inside the tutorial. The next thing they tell us to do is to use the HTTP response. So we are doing this already. So await, get this information, that's good. But now we need to say return album from JSON, blah, blah, blah. So we will copy this and we will change what we have currently. All of this. We will change this. So maybe we can use the 200 or just paste this. It doesn't really matter for now. I will delete this, I will delete this, and we will need to modify a couple of things. So album is not a class that we have created. Instead, it is called the activity. I will use the activity class, so I can say activity, and this will import the package automatically. You will see at the top, we have the package where it is activity class. We can delete the log package, which is the developer. We don't use it anymore. And now we have one error, and the error is probably because we don't return anything. Yeah, the void is not expected to return anything. So what we can do instead is we can store this information inside the page. We can do this by creating another variable. We can say activity, just like that. And boom. And you can see that the activity can't be null. So what we'll do is we'll say this will be a late value. Okay? A late value just means that later we will set this value, so it's okay if it's null for now. So we will set this activity value. Activity is equal to this. Great. So now we have access to this activity, and the next goal, so let me prove it to you first. I will say print activity dot activity, because it's activity is the class and activity is this little thing, this thing. Okay, so this should return one activity. Let's do this. I will restart the application, go inside the course and click on it. And now if we open the terminal, you see play a game of Monopoly. So everything still works, but we are using a class instead. So now we have access to an activity which we can use inside our application to display the information. But there will be one big problem. The thing is, this thing will not be finished once this starts. So it will start to await the information, but because we are waiting and we don't we don't wait anything for the init state, it will start building the application right away. Okay, but you can't build this application if you don't have the data. So how can you handle this information? For this, you will need to use a future builder. The future builder will just be a little widget that you can use, and it will wait for the data in order to display this. I will show you everything in the next video. See you in the next one. Bye. Okay, so how do you use the future builder? Again, just keep in mind that if the return in your terminal is like an error 400 something, it's because you have used the limit too many times, okay? So just keep this in mind. Anyway, so now we will use the future builder. I will cut the entire padding widget. Let's cut this and say future builder. And this widget is pretty cool, you will see. First, the future, we will say get data, like this. I think it was the name. Yeah. It will not work for now because we will need to convert this into a future. Well, we can do it right now, future. But after this, inside the builder, what we'll do is we will say command space or control space and this. This will have access to a snapshot. What is a snapshot? Is an async snapshot. First thing first, we will return what we had previously, which was the padding, okay? And now for the snapshot, let's put the type. If you want, it's up to you. If you don't like to put the type, you don't have to, but I like to do it, so that's good. After this, we can use the snapshot saying, is this loading? If it's loading, then display a loading widget. And if it's finished, if the data is finished to load, then give me the data, all right? So what we'll do is we'll say if, and there is a couple of people that don't like to put many returns, so I will try to just put one return. But yeah, so we'll create a widget like this. Oops, widget. Okay, never mind. We will do this later. I don't want to confuse you right now. Okay, so I will say if the snapshot dot connection state is equal to connection state dot waiting. So if we are still waiting for the data, then I want to return the circular progress indicator. This widget is just a loading widget. So you will see it's loading on the screen. After this, we can say if the snapshot dot connection state dot has, oops, not connection state, but has data. We can say error maybe, or has data. It's pretty much the same thing. So if it has data, then we can display the data. We can say return the padding, this entire thing. And finally, what we can say is we can say else. If all of this doesn't work, then return a center widget, which will have inside the child a text widget saying error. Okay, you can modify this to make it look better, but for now it's just simple stuff. Okay, so now you will see that we have error, and the reason is the get data isn't returning anything for now. So if we go back inside, you will see that we still have the error, and this is because the get data is not returning nothing. So that's the problem. And another thing we need to fix later is, you see how many return we have? I know some people like to put only one return inside their function, and I don't think it's a bad way to handle things. So we will change this later in a future video. So first thing first, let's fix the get data in order to see something at least. For this, we will need to, instead of define an activity, we will return the activity. And the return activity, now we can just delete this first. And we can remove the print, and that should be good. So now, oops, what is this? Not now. So if we save, you see that now it's working and we don't have the error. So now Flutter understands that we have data. But how do we use this data? So what we'll do is we'll say snapshot dot data. Now we have access to the data, and we can say this is an activity. So let's say activity is equal to this. Great. So this should still work. If I hot reload, yeah, everything still work. And now we can use this information. So instead of displaying course, we will display activity.activity. Oops, activity. And now let's save. And now you see that we have the activity. It's not really visible right now, but if we go closer, we can see listen to something, new music, blah, 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 blah. I will just make this a little bit more visible so you can see better. I will put another text under the widget saying exactly the same thing. Like this, I will put all the commas and save. Now you see, create a meal plan for the coming week. So it is working. And just the fact that we have built a future builder, that we request the information from the internet, and we display the information into the application by using a class, I think is just super cool. So that's about it for this one. Another thing I wanted to show you was how to remove the multiple returns, because some people don't like this. And we can do this in a couple of seconds. So what I will do is I will say widget. And the only thing we'll do is we will go through all the if condition. And at the end, we'll say return the widget. Okay? And we will remove all returns and replace them for, so let me select return. I will select all of them, the 3 of them. And I will say widget is equal to this information. So now each of them will be defined. So if the Snapchat connection is waiting, then it will define this as the widget. If the Snapchat has data, then it will define the widget as this. And otherwise, it will define the widget as center and then display this. So now if we just hot reload, you see that everything is still working, but we only have one return statement, which some people prefer this, one return widget. So that's about it, and I see you in the next video. Bye. All right, so now we need to talk about one thing, and then I want to show you one other tips and tricks that you can use in order to code like 10 times faster. So the first thing is, if you're still going through the tutorial, you will see that later this thing will tell you like, okay, you can display it with a future builder like we did, but they do it in a different way. They use the builder and they say, if there is data, then display the data. Else, if there is like an error, then display the error, and otherwise display the circular progress indicator. So there are many ways to code with Flutter, so this is another way to do it. If you prefer this one, you can take this one. It's up to you. After this, another thing I want to show you is how to use ChatGPT or any AI, it doesn't really matter, in order to generate all of this code without even like wasting time. So what we will do is we will first say we have this information. We will just go in ChatGPT right now and we'll say, okay, based on this information, I want a Flutter page code. I want a Flutter code to display this API. That's it. And maybe we will need to put some sort of information. We will need to put this. And let's scroll down to see what Flutter give us. Okay, that's good. But now we will need to change the URL. So the URL is this. Boom. Okay. So now you will be able to just copy paste really fast. So this already create the class. After this, we have a main. You will not need to copy this, but it will create a stateless widget for you, which you can just copy, and you will save incredible amount of time just by doing this. So let's wait for this to finish, and I will copy all the code inside this page, and I will show you how fast we can code with AI like this. So let's copy the code. Let's go inside the course page, and I will replace this. Boom. And paste everything. Next, we'll need to modify a couple of things. First thing first, the URL launcher, we don't really need this. After this, you have to keep in mind that with personal AI and stuff like this, you will need to tweak a couple of things. So it's not perfect yet, but it will save you a lot of time. So we can delete all of this. delete this also, remove this, and just keep the activity screen. So we will change the name of activity screen for course page. Oops, course page. And that's good. And now the activity, we need to import quick fix and import the activity that we have inside the classes, okay, that we have created earlier. And next you will see some error. So you can say quick fix and say, the error is just that we have some sort of a line before. So we will remove all those lines. I will select all of them. This one, and this one, and delete them. Now it's better. And another thing is saying constructor for public widget should have name key. So we can fix this by going over, quick fix, and add key constructor. Okay. So you will see that personal AI are not really like perfect yet, but if you have one that is better, then use this one. That's it. Next, this is all the page that is created for us. So we haven't coded that much. We can remove the launch URL. We don't need this. Sometimes they do a little bit too much, but it doesn't matter. We can remove the elevated button, and boom, this entire code is like generated by GPT, and I just think it's so cool. And right now we have an error, obviously, so I will restart the application. I will go inside Get Started, Next, and click on Register, and click on this. And now this is loading, and boom, display everything. Isn't it like absolutely crazy? You click on Fetch Data, and it will fetch another one. So you can really code your entire application by using a personal AI. And just if you are able to plug and play the things, then you are like a machine. You are unstoppable. Anyway, I will stop with that. I'm going to another topic. It's about like AI and stuff like this, but I just think it's crazy how the future is going. I will stop right there. That's it. See you in the next one, and bye.